Hello, hi, and welcome to the reviews live now. RT Bear, your host, and I am going to do some reviews of some amazing talent that sent me their portfolios. So, if you don't know, my name is RT Bear. I'm 30 plus years logged in as a comic book professional, worked for both Marvel, DC, and various other companies, but mostly those two, on characters like Spider Man, Batman, Superman, the X Men. So, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and let's see what we have here. So, this looks like Carlos Eduardo. Hello.
Sketch Therapy's here.
Hey, Sketch Therapy, welcome. Let's do this. Tell me what you think of Carlos's work. So here's the first tier. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. Nah, it's a little too big. Really good stuff, Carlos. All right, Taylor, you're better at this than me. SketchUp?
Yeah, that car especially definitely looks like SketchUp. Sorry, Carlos, I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying.
But it helps with the review, Carlos, so
It's really good, but I can tell
yeah.
it's SketchUp.
It's a pretty good blending, though, with the style, but it is SketchUp. And I don't knock you for it, I just want to know because it helps me with the review. Very nice. And this all looks like digital inks as well. So let's go panel one. Little Johnny
What's
Depp here.
SketchUp? Ali asks. SketchUp is a program for digital drawing where basically you have a grid and you have models, so you can kind of like set up buildings and cars and stuff on a digital piece of artwork and draw over them or move them around like a 3D model. So it helps with your drawing.
By the way, that was Taylor. She works in the studio with me and helps me out with these reviews.
I should have let you answer that, sorry.
So we should all welcome her. You got eager, it's okay.
If any of you guys joined us in the chat last time I was there.
Yeah, she's part of the Hack Chat group. She works with me in the studio and helps out with the inks, and we're also writing partners and creative partners on a lot of creative projects that we're working on. So I do like that this guy. He's got a little Johnny Deppy look here. It looks like digital inks, not bad. I like all your compositions are. The drawing is pretty good. Your staging is good. Um, so there's just some stuff. I don't know. This kind of looks like it should be more. Like here's his collarbone, like more 3/4. So it feels like the collar should go more over here. I don't know. This is probably a photograph. There's something a little odd going on. It feels like he's turned more 3/4 this way, but the shirt looks like it's coming this way. So it might just be me, but it looks like to me it looks like this collar is off a little bit. Maybe more like that. Maybe push this back a little bit. But yeah, as far as the drawing's really strong. I'd say my main critique would be mostly the inks. So like,
Oh, Peter Palmiotti's here. He
hey
says
Peter,
hello.
welcome. these overlaps here, here, and here. There's really no room for some sloppiness in professional comics, so those are easy preventive mistakes. Just take a little cleanup, get in there.
Sketch Therapy says he tweeted a link to your Twitter and he hopes he can help get you some traffic.
Oh, well, thank you. And just sometimes what I refer to it as, like, sometimes you draw through things, sometimes you want to think about inking through, like, that's a bad line, but where you continue this line through to its logical conclusion. Not that you have to ink it, but think that way. So what's happening, I hope you can see it. Let me get a little closer. Is this line is tapering in here. And what it does, I think when people, it's a real common mistake for first time inkers, is it makes it look like it kind of ends right here. It doesn't keep going. So if this line consistency is throughout, it starts making it look like it goes past this borderline, opposed to it ending right at the borderline. And oops, wrong button. Here is one of those things. You always want to make sure that you have lines. What does it say?
Oh, he's saying that I think he tweeted that you were live right now on Twitter.
Oh, once
He
again,
said something
thank you.
about notifications.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So yeah, so we have this thickness here. It's a structure, and then this is a structure, but it becomes an interior line. And interior lines are usually thinner than outside structure lines. So, like, this collar is, it's an outside structure here. Here, let me clean this up a little bit. It's an outside structure. I did the same thing again. It's an outside structure here, but then it becomes an interior structure here. But it is still a structure. So the collar should be, as thick as you got it here is fine. But oh my golly, what am I doing
You can
there?
just hit X if you want to switch in between.
Yeah.
Be easier.
Is thin this out here. And then, like, thicken this a little bit here. And so the reason you want your exterior lines thicker and your interior ones thinner is because you'll see the structure first. So you're prioritizing how to look at the image. So if the outside structure and the interior line is thinner, then you see the image, the overall image first and foremost. And then secondary, you see the details. So that's kind of the, behind those ideas. So kind of like what's going on here with the collar and here, it's becoming like exterior thick. So I kind of talk about it like it's a coloring book, like this line, and this line are all about the same thickness. So you want to prioritize things. So this one should probably be the thinnest, and then this one like a medium thickness, and then this exterior should be the thickest line. So that's it for that panel. But really good stuff, Carlos. This is a really nice composition. The second panel. Really good perspective. Is some of this hatching, I know it's kind of becoming popular, but this could be, this is a pretty low resolution, but some of this hatching, not these windows, but some of this stuff in here and here are kind of getting muddy. Like I said, it's a low resolution, so maybe if it was a better resolution, it wouldn't look as muddy. But you want to, like you have here, you want your lines to have a nice taper, which you have, but you also want them to be separated so you can read them. If they're too close together and they go like all over the place, they start becoming too muddy, hard to read. This leg and knee is a little awkward. Same with here. But overall, it's really, really nice. Something going on, like here too. I don't know. It feels like the color needs to go over to me, even on that guy. And then I know this is in the foreground, this piece of paper or leaf or whatever, but it's a little too thick. It's a little too heavy, and like I said, avoid your overlaps. Just checking your perspective. It's pretty good. This car looks like it's it's still going with the perspective up to this point. It's probably in perspective for some reason, though. This seems like it's a little too exaggerated, but it might be right.
Someone wants to know, is there a difference between inking for black and white or inking for color, or should they always shoot for the same goals?
If it's ink and there's color over it, I think you can simplify if there's colors, if you don't want to be as busy with it, and let the colors do some heavy lifting. But I would say it just depends on your style. So if you're heavy rendering style, sometimes you can back off for the colors, and because it's more of a black and gray with white, like it's more stark look without colors. So you may have to do extra stuff, but like I said, it just depends on your style. Because I've seen really open stuff in black and white where there's very little rendering, and I've seen heavy rendered black and white. But for me, I think heavy rendering looks really good black and white, so you can see all the detail. But I've seen it colored up really well too. Like Jim Lee's stuff is very, very busy, and the coloring is very busy. But then you take somebody like, well, even like Sean Gordon Murphy, his stuff is very, very busy with all the kinetic look. But what he does is he simplifies the color work, so it's not quite as rendered as Jim Lee's stuff. So there's various combinations of things you can do. But I would say for me, if you're definitely going just black and white, go a little bit more detail with the inks, because that's all you have.
Someone wants to know if you think that this style is more intended to be black and white, or do you think this was done for color? I don't know if you have any way of knowing that.
I don't know. I mean, I've inked more detail-oriented work than this that was meant to be colored. So this can easily be color, or color can easily be put over this. So yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I don't know. There's something. This window looks. There's something going on here. This window looks too narrow. It looks like it should be up here, going across, and then this line goes in this direction. But I don't think windows. I think it would go this way or more like this. maybe not that exaggerated, but it would go more like this. So this this part, wow, I love that button today. This part right here, I'm not sure what would be there. This here. But I like this view. Yeah, there's something going on with the car. I don't know, for me it feels like the mirror should be over here more. There's something going on with the car, but I'm not sure. But it's very, very good. This guy looks awesome. Is there a question?
More like a comment.
Oh, cool.
I'm just saying that since the vehicles are so dark, Sketch assumed that it was meant to be in black and white, I guess because of how dark they are.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a nighttime scene. I'm thinking this is probably a nighttime scene since the second panel has, it looks like there's these lights coming through the trees. And since there's so many heavy blacks in here, so it could be a nighttime scene. This looks like the guy inside the car. It's really nice face. I think for me, I would probably, some of these lines are a little bit too much detail. I would simplify them. Thin them out maybe a little bit. It looks like the light source is coming down in this direction, but there's this, well, maybe it's because I cut some of the black out. Hold on.
I'm sorry, Sketch, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, this black looks like it's coming up too high right here on the eyebrow.
Sherman wants to know what you think about Klaus Jansson's DC's Comics Guide to Inking.
It's really good. Anything Klaus says, I would listen to. Klaus gave me some really good advice early on, and I asked him, I said, how are you able to ink the way you ink and get away with it? Because it would be very, very personal, very scratchy. It wasn't really a real commercial look. And he said, the way I get away with it is, or the way to get away with it, is just start incorporating your style or the take that you want on over the pencils in little increments, meaning every issue, just push it a little farther than the one before, stylistically. So if you want to loosen up the work, start loosening it up over a course of like panels and issues. That way, and then eventually, if you have an overview of where you want to be, then you can get to that point without a major abrupt style change. So it's a thing to think about as an inker, is that you can affect the style, but sometimes you don't want to do it like from issue to issue too much. So if you're on a long run of books, which most people aren't anymore, but if you are, you can start incorporating those ideas where you just kind of slowly change things as you go along to the point of, an ultimate goal or destination, or vision that you want to achieve. But I would also, especially more in this day and age than the past, I would maybe ask the penciler what they think and see what they, because you don't want to upset the penciler, because some pencilers have a definite view on and a vision of what they want. So don't go too far either. It's a catch-22. So this back on his face, there's this line right here that makes it. I think I would bring the shadow
It's
down.
all about subtlety with inking, says Peter.
Yes. I think I'd bring the shadow down more like this, because you have this this light source that, based on the nose shadow and um, and the forehead light and everything, looks like the light is coming down pretty abruptly in this direction. So I think the shadow should reflect that underneath the chin a little bit more. But this is really good. I like the way it fades back into the chair. I'm not sure your hairstyle, the way you ink the hair, and the way you're doing like these textures are quite merging stylistically. So I think maybe your rendering style, like what you have on the forehead here, and this hairstyle, they're kind of clashing a little bit. And then there's also this like thick line work here. So you got like kind of too many things going on. I think there needs to be a little bit more harmony between the textures. I'm not saying don't texture up the hair, because that's a good idea. Um, how I used to do hair, but it depends on the penciler too, is I always used to use a brush, and then like the rendering use a pin, and the structure work with a pin, because then the hair would always have a little bit more organic look, because brush always brings more organicness, I guess, to things. Yeah, I'm not too crazy about that. These textures, I don't know, they seem to not be meshing very well. You got some overlaps. Be real careful, like I said, with that. Yeah, you got this texture, and on this dashboard in here, and it's starting to look
Peter says the
looks
way
too
he inked
similar.
the hair makes it looks like it's meant to be greasy.
Yeah,
And
yeah, like it's slicked back.
and Sketch says he watches your videos to see what to look out for.
Watch out. Thank you. Here's another sloppy moment here. Like, watch out, because you have the background overlapping the foreground here. But yeah, this is really good, Carlos. I really like the style. I think maybe start looking at some perspective. It's starting to get a little weird here. Hey, wait a minute. Okay, are there two people? Maybe this is the other. No. On this third panel, maybe this is another person, but it looks like it's up too high. It looks like it's supposed to be the window, but it looks like there's another person here in the seat with this guy. Either that or this is the back. Maybe this is the back of the other chair. Yeah, this is the back of the other chair. And that's actually a problem too, because if you can't tell what it is, then you're not making the point. But really good, Carlos. And oh my gosh, these tones are amazing. This is Doug. So let's go first here. Coming in the room. This is great storytelling. Getting her coffee, putting her glasses on, curling up to a good book, kind of sexy. She falls back. It's funny. It's a great face. Sounds like maybe she was startled by something, and she goes to the window and looks out the window and sees something. Two great faces, nice gestures. It's good stuff, Doug. I like it. This is one of those examples where you probably wouldn't put color over this, because it's done so nice. And it's very deliberate with the tones. Very nice. This is a nice shot. I like the simplified background here. There's nothing there. She's taking off the work clothes, it looks like. Looks like she's walking over to the kitchen. The only thing is, maybe if in the background here there was some kind of maybe stove or something kitchen-y, countertops, maybe the coffee maker there, just for storytelling, because it looks like she walks over. Maybe this is a microwave, so maybe you can put the microwave somewhere in the shot, so you're setting up this next shot here with the coffee, This is a great smoke. Wow, this is real. This is a nice. This guy looks like he's studied storyboards or animation. If you're listening, Doug, let me know. Picks up the glasses, so she looks like she's walking back over to the living room area. She's got her cozy chair. She's got her mug, her book. This is, I know it's kind of cartoony, but this knee's a little too, looks a little too
Beautifully
rubbery.
done, Ollie says.
Yes, it is. Maybe, yeah, maybe the knee like right here. And maybe also what makes it look rubbery is this interior line. Maybe the interior line is throwing, like maybe if you disconnected this line here or just slightly overlapped it, it would be more effective. It's very nice. Wow, nice cartooning, really good. Wow, get all the elements in there. Chair at the bottom. Yeah, there's some animation going on. I like that she also hit the wall a little bit to knock the frame. It's a great face. I would probably simplify some of this stuff here. It's a little too harsh, too busy. Looks a little out of character for the youth of the girl. I really like this movement. It's a great moving into this. So, I don't know if this is supposed to be the same room that she walks into in this third panel here. It looks similar. So, if this is the kitchen or the kitchen window, once again, I would put something in there to show it. But this is nice to show a point of reference that she still has the chair there. So she runs over to the window, she opens it, and she's looking around. I think we're starting to lose the structure a little bit here. So I bring this out maybe just a tad. That's a nice gesture. This is nice back here with the hand holding up the window. And then she sees whatever made the sound or it's moving past her. That's nice too. Her hair's moving in the same direction. And this is also leading you into the next page, the movement. It's really good, Doug. I don't think you needed to really send this to me. This looks like you're really close to getting where you want to be. Yeah, there's just little things, just really little minor things. So let's go to Eamon. Wow, it's really nice. Looks like a Dark Knight Returns type of pinup. If these are your pencils and layouts, it's really strong. This kind of looks like another artist I've seen. Maybe it was a kind of a riff on a Greg Capullo cover, but it's good. It's really good. Batman, darling. Good nose structure. I like the mouth. Depends on the style that you're going, but for my taste, some of this looks a little too busy. The wrinkles and stuff, but I like it. Like I said, people wanted to hit that button. Busy hair, busy stuff like this can work, but once again, I think for my tastes, I would probably simplify some of it. and just kind of hit the details where the shadows are coming in, like around the scalp and things like that, and where the light starts coming down.
Sherman asks, are those wrinkles or eyelashes?
If they're eyelashes, they're very, very long. I was reading them as wrinkles, because like Frank Miller kind of does a lot of those extra lines. But one, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a stylistic thing for sure, but I'm not sure. It could be. I think if somebody likes that style, it's cool. But like I said, for me, I think I would rather if um, it was more simplified. Got a little cut too much into the eye. But yeah, something more like that. I know it looks like it's a little bit of like a Frank Miller type of homage, but like I said, some of this is just my personal taste. And then I'm always in favor of, as the light dissipates in the lower areas where the light doesn't hit as much, kind of bring in more darks. It's really good though. Um, some of this hatching's a little too bitty and maybe unnecessary. Some of this maybe, I'm just thinking about this. Some of this may come down to if you maybe just use, this is probably too heavy, but thicker line weights maybe. Like I said, this is too thick. Because sometimes you can prioritize the way you look at things by the line weights. It's too much, but I think you get the idea. Because some of this hatching looks it looks a little too much. Maybe the better idea would be I love that button, is to just simplify it with this style. Simplify some of this. Yeah, this might be low res, but some of this hatching looks a little muddy, a little confused. So start looking at more hatching. Start paying attention to the patterns. And I think when you start too heavy on like lines that are kind of out in the open like that, it looks wrong like this, unless it's stylistic and it's throughout the entire look of the book. But sometimes if you start too thick, I think it looks too heavy, especially for things like this that are not real structured. Nice hand. If this is your drawing, this is really good. This is nice composition. It's fun. It's frightening.
Sketch wants to know if there's such a thing as an ink editor. Could a person hire like you to give recommendations? Sorry, let me read the rest. I can't pull it. Recommendations on a first pass or maybe a second pass for final print.
I worked as like ink talent scout at Extreme Studios, and also I worked with all the young inkers that would come in to the studio. So I did, when I worked at Image and Extreme for the 5 years or so, and then I kind of do the same thing here at Hack Shack with new inkers, things like that. I think I think that edit speaking editors at like DC and Marvel are just supposed to know a lot of these things so that they can kind of help the talent. But usually when you hire somebody, you kind of already know what they can do. And I'm not sure how much they work with like brand new talent or talent that would need to be edited heavily or helped. I think they kind of expect you to do that on your own. That's why these reviews and talking like this and finding stuff like this on the internet is pretty good for you guys, because I think in lieu of somebody mentoring you, a lot of your questions and things can be answered with stuff like what we're doing here. So yeah, I don't know of anything like. But yeah, I think overall this is great stuff. I would just prioritize the line weights because some of this stuff is really thin. I know that's kind of the style you're going for, but I think some of it just it's becoming hard to read and see. Wow, I think 'cause I can't hit that one button. Um, like just stuff, and then underneath these things get a little bit heavier because you can already see like the characters are starting to pop. There is a style where things are real thin and linear, and there's not a lot of differentiating line weights. But I would say if you're just starting out, unless you are really, really, really good, I wouldn't attempt that. I would still try to put some thickness to the line weights. Try to prioritize the line weights so you can make things out, kind of like the stuff I talked about with Carlos's page. But anyways, that's pretty much it. Oh, we got a question.
What are your inking page rates for any projects?
What are mine? I usually don't projects. I'm usually pretty busy with DC and then my own independent projects, so I don't really do that. Do you have any project? Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I think he has a penciler he's working with.
Oh, you want so you know what you should charge. My gosh, I would say whatever you're comfortable with.
Let me reread that for clarification here.
We're going to time.
I have a talented artist, but I think they could benefit from a separate inker. Oh no, they're looking to hire an inker.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, just as far as prices, I mean, it's mostly whatever you're comfortable with and what you can afford. So obviously, the more you can pay, the better talent and probably the less hassle you're going to handed editing and back and forth. And the more money that you can pay, you'll probably get better peace of mind and better work. So I say it's whatever your budget is, and then whatever that talent is willing to do it for. So it could be anywhere between $20 and $200, just depending on your budget and what level talent you can get for that budget. So it really, really does vary. But I would say it's usually a safe bet that the more money you spend, the better the talent you can get. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way, but I'd say the majority of the time it does work that way. So divvy up the dough. Give up the dough. All right. We've got one more, and then we're going to call it a day.
Sketches, I'd probably do 24 pages from ink to ink editor. That's what you mean. And sorry guys, this check goes by really fast. So he says he'd probably do 24 pages from inker to ink editor to red marker, you touch-ups. I think that's it.
Okay, well, I hope I answered your question. We got to get back up and do some money work for DC, so I can keep my deadlines and schedules running well. Again, for tuning. I'm not sure. We're kind of making a lot of this stuff up as we go along. So we're going to do some Hack Shack or Hack Chats next week, and then we might slip a review in there. But we're going to try to start mixing things up, trying to entertain you guys better at the same time, giving you some inside tips and things like that. So hope you enjoyed, and enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Thanks.